Back on Sunday's Sound Off, and time now for our first hot topic of the night. We asked, what are Aaron Murray's chances of actually making this Chiefs roster? They are very full at the quarterback position. Some teams are just carrying two quarterbacks these days. We start with Darren Smith. Darren, is Aaron Murray going to make this team?
In my humble opinion, I don't think he is. If you got two quarterbacks, you don't have any quarterbacks, and the fact that you have five quarterbacks is amazing within itself. But we were talking about this before we went on the air. I kind of blame the coaches, including Andy Reid, for this during the OTAs and preseason and the mini camps and stuff. They were singing the praises of Aaron Murray and Bray, and then you bring in Nick Foles. So you bring in Nick Foles, and when everybody else is fighting to be a number two, and now if Nick Foles is going to be guaranteed number two, there really is no need for Aaron Murray on this team.
Cody, this guy has had some issues over the last couple of weeks in the red zone. Aaron Murray's red zone efficiency has been horrible. He threw a pick yesterday. He fumbles the ball a couple of weeks ago. What is going on with this young quarterback?
Well, I was never particularly impressed with Murray the last two training camps, but then this year I thought he looked a little bit better. But with Nick Foles coming in, a player that Andy Reid didn't expect to be around, and a quality backup in the NFL, that kind of puts him on the odd man, though somebody's got to go on the IR. I guess my vote is still Hogan because you said some teams carry two. Most teams don't carry five. When the cuts come through, someone's going to have to go. And I think that Murray's likely to be it because he's gotten more opportunity and he has folded in a couple of those opportunities. And how long can you continue to carry? I mean, it could still be Bray because he's the kind of guy that they've continued to put on the injured reserve. But at this point, with Aaron Murray's struggles, I guess he's the odd man out. There's no way they're carrying five, so I guess he's probably the one to go.
TJ Carpenter is getting very crowded in that quarterback room. Who's out?
Yeah. Cody said most teams don't carry five. No team carry five. Nobody carries five in the NFL. I was looking at ways in which they could conceivably somehow keep the rights to all these players, and I guess you could argue that if you put Tyler Bray on IR again, and then sneak Kevin Hogan onto the practice squad, then you keep Aaron Murray. That's really his only shot, is being the third quarterback on a 53-man roster. But here's the reality of it. If you characterize every quarterback on the team currently, you've got Alex Smith, who's the starter. You've got Nick Foles, who believes he could be a starter or is a starter in this league. You've got Tyler Bray, who's got $1 million arm and a 10-cent brain. You've got Kevin Hogan, who's 2018. And then you got Aaron Murray, who's a really nice guy. And really nice guys usually finish last, and that's Aaron Murray's issue. He's got clear physical deficiencies. He's got limitations. These other guys, they all have higher ceilings than he does, and that means, unfortunately for Aaron Murray, nice guy, but it means he's probably going to be looking for a job here pretty soon.
Well, our second hot topic of the evening, those Royals are red hot. Will they be able to make a playoff push? Cody, what do the Royals look like in the crystal ball for you?
They're already making the playoff push, are they not? This team now just sits 3 games back in the wild card. They held ground today with the Orioles winning, but they made up games on Seattle, Detroit, Houston. They're now tied at a 3-way tie, 3 games back. They're only a game back of Detroit, and then you start talking wild card teams. And by winning today, they put themselves just 4 games back of the Red Sox, 3 games back of the Orioles, and those 3 teams, coupled with the Blue Jays, will have to play each other a lot. I didn't think, at 51 or 52 and 58, obviously we all thought that they were going to be done, because that's a reasonable, human being, normal thing to think. But the Royals have made a push. They're officially in this thing. Can they hold it till the end? I don't know. The offense still has severe deficiencies. The defense was bad again tonight. And there are questions about the starting pitching if those 3 guys at the top aren't dominant. But right now, they're in the thick of the playoff race. I don't think anyone could deny it.
TJ, this team has been to the playoffs the last 2 years. How difficult is it for them to not only get back to the playoffs, but when you start talking about getting to the World Series, that's almost unheard of.
Yeah, making the playoffs is not easy, not for anyone. Wasn't easy in 2014, and yet they won 68% of their games in those final 2 months to end up making the playoffs. They're going to have to do something similar again this year. I know that it looks like they're not that far out. The problem is that they've got, right now, they're gridlocked with 2 teams in each American League division and 3 in the American League East that are all ahead of them. So I think that, or they're in a tie currently with. So I think that that's maybe their number one issue, is that if there's one team that's winning in another division, that means that another team is losing. The losing is good for you, but the winning is bad. So I think that it's one of those instances in which you're going to have to win every series from here until the end of the year, a couple of those being 4-game series, to get to that 88 to 90 win total necessary to end up making that wild card spot. Anything happens, they lose a series here, they're going to have to start sweeping teams, and that's very difficult to do in baseball, especially late in the year against contenders.
Darren Smith, yesterday we saw Danny Duffy struggle, but he's been the ace. He's really carried this ball club. What are they going to need from this pitching staff and the bullpen to be successful down the stretch?
Well, first thing they're going to have to do is not give up early runs, and putting the team, behind the 8 ball. Speaking about what TJ was talking about, I actually think that, this week, this homestand that they have coming up against the Yankees, as well as Detroit, is going to be beneficial and it's going to be vital for them. For them to actually make the playoffs, I hate to be a Debbie Downer, I don't think that they're going to make the playoffs simply because they put themselves too far back. Granted, they're only 3 games back in the wild card race and only a few games back with Cleveland. However, if they don't sweep Cleveland, they have to go 6-0, not 4-2, not 5-1 when they play Cleveland in September and at the end of October, at the beginning of October, for them to make the playoffs. If they don't sweep Cleveland, they don't make the playoffs, period.
Well, the rosters will expand in September. You'll have guys coming up. Maybe will we see guys like Bubba Starling come up, guys like Terrence Gore, guys that can come off the bench and really help this team. TJ, what do you think the chances are of that young talent being able to come and give them that extra push to get over?
Well, I think that it helps. I think that when you got, young guys who are willing to come up and they're given that opportunity, we've seen with this team in particular that they take advantage of that. And you don't need 3, 4, 5 months of production out of these guys. So put them in a spot, and that's their opportunity. That's their opportunity to show that they can really make a difference at the major league level. So I think that in spots, which is how they'll be utilized, they can be beneficial because we've seen other guys do it in the past.
Real quick, guys, our final hot topic, your thoughts on the Colin Kaepernick issue, not standing for the national anthem. TJ, what are your thoughts?
Well, I first and foremost, Colin Kaepernick absolutely has the right to do what he did, as many Americans do, as all Americans do, and many Americans exercise their right to do. And the NFL expressed that. They said that he is under no obligation to stand for the national anthem, and that's the appropriate stance to take as the league. That being said, I think he drew attention, or wants to draw attention to a very important issue, and that's a good thing. He also needs to understand that when you take a symbol like the American flag, a symbol of unity that we all look to and say that despite our differences, we all look at that and say that's the umbrella under which we all live. You use a unifying symbol to divide or become divisive on an issue, people are going to they're going to lash out against that. They're going to be disappointed in that. And you have to remember and know that there are going to be consequences for the stands that you take. And I think right now that's currently what we're seeing.
Darren, can you give me your thoughts in 10 seconds or less?
Not in 10 seconds, but basically I don't see any problem with what he did. And, hats off to him. If he can withstand the blowback, so be it.
Cody, your thoughts, sir?
I'm fine with it. I'm telling you right now, if you're looking at what he did, I think if he's Muhammad Ali, you don't have a problem because he's a bad quarterback. People sometimes have an issue.
And people will always have issues regardless. Hey, we're still talking about those hot topics. More for you in just a few.